Hi, it's Kelly Francis. This is my revision and rationale for my teaching unit. My teaching unit is a social studies unit, biography, what I call a living museum. Um, so, first question is, did the task yield appropriate evidence of the identified understandings? My goals were to be able to portray a historical character, and I feel that um, through everything, the research and the biography, they are able to emulate their characters when they do our living museum. The research paper has all the information that's needed to be able to become or betray this person. The task involved complex real-world application of identified knowledge, skill, and understandings. The students learn how to research. I actually had a co-teacher of mine come up and say that she really enjoyed what I'm doing with my fifth graders because it does have a real world application, and I was like, that's perfect because that's exactly what I have to answer here, because they learn how to research facts, find those reliable sources, and that's important in the real world, especially nowadays we hear about all these fake news and whatnot. So finding those facts and finding the reality within them, and learning to speak to people. They're doing public speaking, which I don't think I included that with my goals. I probably should have, because that's also another goal, is working on that public speaking standard that is required through the Common Core. So those are things, the research, learning to find actual truthful facts, reliable sources, and learning to be able to speak in front of people. A variety of appropriate assessment formats. I use a rubric for the biography paper. The rubric is also for, which is included in my assignment 4. They give a speech, and they're trifold. I grade them on their speech, and what I look for on their speech is, how accurate is their information? Does it sound different from their biography? Are they looking directly at someone? Are they looking down at their cards? Are they monotone? I'm grading them on those sorts of things. And their trifold has any extra information that they have that may not be in their speech that comes from their paper. And I'm looking at the creativity of their trifolds and the information that's presented and how it's presented. So, there's different types of assessments there. Opportunity, this is one that I've thought hard about. Do they actually go back and self-assess? Like, was that biography good? Was that biography, could I have done this differently? I don't think that I actually have that self-assessment and reflection upon their own learning in there, and that is definitely something that I would like to include, to make them go back and think, oh, I should have done this differently, or I liked how I did this, but maybe next time if I, because they also do this as sixth graders, so maybe they'll do it differently. Take a survey about maybe how they did things, how they could have done things, or if they liked it, what they liked about it. That's definitely something that I believe that I need to add in, because I don't have that element. The ISTE standard that I feel fits best with this one is the designer one. The use of technology to create and adapt and personalize learning experiences that foster independent learning, accommodate learner differences and needs. I feel that through this, I use the Google Classroom. I have a list of acceptable sources that they can use, because at this point they're not real versed in using the internet for finding resources. So because I've learned in the past that if I let them just go and look, they're pulling sources from things that aren't really reliable, because they'll come up to me and say, well, this source says this and this source says that. And I also have them using a book source, and I'm like, so they can have a reliable book source that says this. And I was like, so I asked them, what does that match up with your book source? And they'll be like, well, no. And it's like, well, then that's probably not a real reliable source. So they're learning to do those sorts of things. They're also learning how to use Google Documents to type their papers, and this is all something very new to them. They don't, and their first through fourth grade, they don't really write papers. I know from experience, my son has done biographies, but it's not as in depth as the biography papers in fifth grade. This is a project that I've been doing for the past 4 years. The kids really enjoy it. It's a really fun project. And, putting this here makes me go back and think, okay, how can I change it to make it more student-centered, more student-led, and how they can learn more from the experience. So, if you enjoyed, thanks.